Hi, Darren from Raised Guitars. Today on the bench I've got a Yamaha Pacifica, so I'm going to take you through a full setup and how I do it. And there it is, what a lovely colour. Okay, just trying a new angle with the camera now, which I think is going to look good for you, but I'm working with a camera pole right between my arms. So this guitar's coming in for a setup. Looks fairly new, a little bit of wear on the frets and stuff. So fairly basic one. I've done taken measurements already. So what I've done is I've checked the neck relief, which I've done with putting the capo there. The first fret. It's quite awkward with this pole in between my arms. And then I've got my Music Nomad feeler gauges, which they're very nice, but they're very, very expensive. And this is probably needs a slight adjustment, but I'll do that once I've got new strings on, because this is the old strings, and as you can see, one snapped. Intonation needs setting, so it's never been done. String height is a little high, but that should come down a little bit when I adjust the neck relief. I've checked the nut slots, so these two need cutting in very slightly, again using a feeler gauge, Music Nomad one. These are really handy because they take all the brainwork out, and they've got written on which strings each one does. So that one's fine. It was the other side that was very, very slightly high, but it's very slight. So first things first, let's get these strings off. Yeah, there's nothing on there. Batteries are going in there. Right, and this is just for speed. Cut these off. Again, I've invested in some Music Nomad stuff lately, and it's expensive, but it's actually really good. And this is what's simply very, very strong wire cutters, and they work great on even the thickest bass guitar string. Right, just pull those through the back. Okay, strings are off. So I've checked the electrics, and they're fine, other than this tone switch is slightly scratchy, so that'll get a squirt of contact cleaner a bit later on. So the first thing I'm going to do is clean up these frets. So I've got a shield, and then I use these are Zoma papers. They're all different grades, so you start with coarse and you go right through to like super fine. Okay, it's done. So next I'm just going to put a dab of lemon oil to clean the fretboard. Now, this is maple, and where it doesn't sort of soak up like it does on a dark wood like a rosewood or an ebony. So I'm literally just using it as a cleaner, and I wouldn't leave it on there for too long. So just whack it over, probably leave it for 2 minutes and then wipe it off. If you've got a really scuzzy neck, this one's all right. If you've got a really scuzzy one, lighter fluid works quite well. Obviously don't light it, just put it on and wipe it off. Right, while that's doing that, for the measurements I took, the high strings, the nut slot is very, very slightly high, but it's only a tiny bit. So I'm going to give them the lightest touch, and these are the Music Nomad diamond coated nut files. Flipping expensive, but they make it easy, so you can grip them, and it's literally just going to need one of those. And obviously don't go too far, because otherwise you have to replace the nut. So let's wipe these off. It's rattling against the wall. That's going to be really annoying. The lid's come off of that one. Stick that back on. There we go. So even though it looked clean, wasn't really. Right, this customer supplied their own strings, and they've gone for the Ernie Ball regular slinkies. So that's 10 to 46s. Right, I think people string guitars in different ways, but this is the way I do it. So I measure to the end of the next post, cut it off. There you go, hold it round. So I do the one wind over the top of the leftover bit, and then the rest around the bottom. Oh, what I did do earlier, before I took the strings off, is I straightened the neck completely, which I use this tool for. And basically put it over the frets so it sits there, completely straightened it, and then I check that all the frets are level. And you do that with a fret rocker. And you basically do that. You go in 3 at a time. As the frets get smaller, you use a different side. And then basically you go all the way down the neck, and if you get any sort of joggly noise, that means that you might have one or a few that are higher than the rest. And depending on how bad it is, you then might have to level it. But this one's spot on. So what we're doing, okay, so tune up. If I can find the hole. Not normally a problem. Look at that. Right, so in tune, but new strings, they always stretch. So what I do is I pre-stretch them, so that the guitar stays in tune straight away. Just pop that out of there. There we go. So you see they've stretched. Okay, so now we've got our new correct tension on the neck. Now we can measure the neck relief. So capo over the first fret. And then I'm looking for 0.25 millimeters. Now, on these Music Nomad ones, they've got all the instructions and everything, but they're set for measuring at the 6th fret. And they give you this weird pick thing. And I don't like it. I like doing it the other way. There's basically the old school way. So capo on there. And I'm looking for 0.25 millimeters at the 12th fret. So you hold down the string and slide it under. And that's spot on. So that doesn't need any adjustment. You can just feel it touching. So that's good. So neck relief first, then string height. I've got this tool. So what you're doing is you put it through the strings, and then you look at what bar this sits below. And ideally on a guitar like this, I'm trying to get around 1.5 mil here to 1.25 there. You can't always get away with it that low. You might have to bring it up again if there's any buzzing, but that's a little bit of trial and error. So at the moment, that's sitting at 2.5 and 2.25. So these can come down. So I need to turn these adjusters to bring them down. Right. I like this. This is really good. This Music Nomad toolkit. Apart from the blue thing keeps popping off, so I've got to glue it. But it's really thought out well. It's got everything in there you need, almost. And then it's also got, something out. You can all these different nut sizes, just on the handle. Just keeps it all in one place. This is really good as well. It says felt on the back, and that's for doing up things like switches on Gibson Les Pauls, where they've got that nailed ring on the top. Right, I reckon that's that one. When you adjust these saddles, keep them level. Don't do them sideways, cockeyed. So I'll slide that under there, and then drop that down. We got 1.75. I'll go with that for now. Oh, shaky hands. Okay, so what that would have done is put all the strings out of tune. So let's stiff it again. At this point, I'd check for buzzing on the notes across the neck, because this is quite low. And a lot of the time, the height of the strings is down to user preference, but I've kind of got the one that I put it in, which is 1.75-ish here, going across and then dropping to 1.5 or slightly lower on the high E string if I can get it. It might generate some buzzing, so just check. There's a bit there. Quite a bit there. Right, so E and A strings need to come up a touch. Which will have put them out of tune again. Still buzzing on that one. What string out we got there? 1.75. That'll do, I think. Okay, so after setting the neck relief and then the string height, then you do the intonation. So you make sure your string is in tune, which they all should be now. Still a bit. New string's 8. Okay, and now at the 12th, you're looking for exactly the same pitch. And that's flat. Yeah, and if you can get it within 1 pip, that's okay. Ooh. G, knee setting, knee setting, and miles out. Right, so it's quite a lot of adjustment to do here. And then you adjust these by winding these, and this pushes your bridge backwards and forwards, and you keep doing that until you've got the notes the same as they are open as they are on the 12th fret. So when you wind that, it'll actually change the tuning in the open as well. As you see, here we go. Okay, pickup height. So once you sort all that out, you can adjust the pickup heights up or down with these screws. And what I'm typically looking for, and it's subjective, you can change it, but kind of a good standard setting is 2.4 millimeters from the top of the pole piece to the bottom of the string when the string's held down. And that's on the bass side. On the treble side, 2 millimeters. And on the humbucker, I'm looking for 3.4 and 3. So this has got little markers on it. And hold down the string, pop it on the top of the pole piece. And it's currently sitting at 1.9. So that can come down a bit. So yeah, anti-clockwise, that'll drop it. Yeah, kind of need 3 hands. You get the hang of it. There we go. So that's 2.4. Well, I can come down as well. That is 2. That's all right. I can come down a bit. Come down. Oh, shaky hands. It's a little story. You probably notice I sometimes have quite shaky hands. Now, I've got a disability, which means I'm in chronic pain down my right hand side all of the time. And I basically got a load of nerve damage when I got shingles 5 years ago. And the solution, because your nerve pains can't be fixed, is I've got a computer inside me now that plugs into my spine, and it sends electrical signals upwards. It's called a spinal cord stimulator, and it cancels out the pain signal. But however, the result is, depending on how high I've got it set, it sometimes makes my hand shake, which is what it's doing today, which is sometimes not much fun when you're trying to do fiddly work like this. Okay, so that's set up. Put that. Okay, I'm going to stick the whammy bar in it because the springs there might need adjustment. And then I'm going to sort out that pot, and then it'll be job done. That's about right. Leave that. Righty tighty, lefty loosey, get it right. Oh. Okay, so take this cover off to get into the pots. Alright, contact cleaner. You can normally find a little gap. Give it a swizzle. Sorted. There we go. That's how you set up a guitar. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like and subscribe. Please, go on. Go on. You know you want to.